Good morning, YouTube, or evening, afternoon. Welcome to this full day of eating winter off-season edition. There've been quite a few changes to my food and things, not just in general, a lot of things going on in the last few months. But I thought today would be a good place to start updating you because I've actually just come into a spot where I'm mentally able to start tracking in different foods because my off-season was getting to a point where I was really struggling to get the food in, but I was also having like 2 bowls of oats, like meal 1 and meal 5. And why? Because I just didn't have the mental capacity to try and think about tracking anything else. I do macros per meal, so rather than just thinking about 3 values for the day, like carbs, protein, fats, I'm thinking about 15 values because I've got 5 meals. So I've got, the protein, carbs and fats to hit per meal, which means that I have to think about every single meal. I have to think, so this meal 1 that I'm going to have, it's a training day today, for example, is 60 grams of carbs that I need to get in, 10 grams of fat, 25 grams of protein. So, I'm not just thinking about a total for the day. I need to specifically hit 60 grams of carbs right now, not just kind of hit what I fancy and then see what happens by the end of the day. Like, it has to be the right amount every single meal. So, because I've been struggling to get oats in, I've gone on a little cereal hype. Got some sexy cereals. I've always got the Cocoa Pops. I've always got the Weetabix. But I've bought things like this. These type of things, right? They are high carb, low fat, which is really great. These type of cereals like Golden Nuggets, Cookie Crisp. I thought I'd try these as well. So I'm now about to make 60 grams of carbs from this. What I'll do is I'll just type into MyFitnessPal and I'll keep adding numbers until it hits like 60. So this is going to be 60 grams of carbs from this is going to be 82 grams. So I'm going to have 82 grams of that right now. Obviously got a cereal bowl for it. 82 grams of this to get the protein. So generally speaking, with cereals, what I'll just do is I will just put whey in with the milk. So I've got quite a few different forms at the moment. This one is the caramel biscuit flavour, which I think will probably go quite nicely with cereal. Yes, in general, I should also probably mention that I have started working with a new supplement company now. As amazing as my old one were, they unfortunately closed the business down for personal reasons. So, yes, I'm lucky enough now to be working with a new company, Supplement Supply UK. So, yes, I did ask them if I could have the same code I always have had and that I do have with any companies I work with, which is Emily10, keeps things simple. So, if you do want any supplements, whether that's, your protein, your support products, Strom, etc., whatever, like literally, I think this company stocks actually a lot more brands than my previous one did. So literally any kind of supplements that you end up needing, if you head over to Supplement Supply UK and use my code Emily10, you will be able to get 10% off, which is always a vibe. Anyway, almond milk, just because it's lower in calories, it doesn't really add much to the meal. I just always have almond milk when I'm having cereal, and then I just have normal, sort of like cow's milk for tea, coffee, etc. So just mix this in. You've probably seen me do this a million times if you're a regular follower of my channel. And yes, then we're going to go 82 grams of cereal, and that I'll have a piece of chocolate. No, two squares of chocolate is 10 grams of fat, which I need with this meal as well. So I'll have that separately in a bit. I could put peanut butter in here as well, but that's a bit weird, I think. So yeah, 10 grams of fat with the meal, which I will get in separately as well. And that is going to be meal 1. Right, I'm back up at my desk. So pretty much morning routine wise, wake up and I'll either shower or I'll go and get a coffee from Greggs for going on a walk. To be fair, it's a nice sunny day today, but it literally depends on who's checking in that day sometimes, because I've got people post-show right now and I'm not going to enjoy going out for a coffee knowing that they're eagerly awaiting for a reply because they're in that kind of, vulnerable post-show mindset, which is actually almost more urgent than a prep, almost, but not quite. But yeah, it was the same when people were prepping. It's like, I'm not going to go out and get a coffee and delay another 20-30 minutes of you waiting for a response from me. I'll just stay here, make a coffee downstairs and crack on with check-ins, and then I'll just end up, once I've got the coffee, I'll end up doing about 5 to 6 check-ins maybe. So that's what I've done this morning. Gone and eaten my first meal, then I come back, crack open my Monster. So that's pretty much all my caffeine for the day, unless I'm having a particularly like bad day where I feel like I need more, I do try and limit it to 1 coffee, 1 energy drink, because I enjoy both, so I have 1 of each, and that's my caffeine intake. So yeah, have this now while I sort of finish off check-ins. I've got a setup to do as well today. Someone just signed up yesterday, which is amazing. Seem to be getting a lot of inquiries and sign-ups at the moment, which is fantastic, and I'm in a very good place to take on new clients. So yes, crack on. And yeah, so I'm going to do that as well. I've got deadlift day today, so deadlifts got added into my program not that long ago. I think I've ran them for like 2 weeks now, so this will be my 3rd week of deadlifting. So that's in upper session, so I'll head over to House of Gains for that. And then yeah, I think I've got a couple of appointments at like 5 PM and stuff, so got to crack on, finish my check-ins, set up, training, get back for like 5 PM, and that'll be my day. But I'll take you along for the meals as and when we go. My next meal is like meal 2 is like 110 grams of carbs going in, so it's like a heavier meal where I usually will have a bagel and some Weetabix and Cocoa Pops and stuff, but I'll see how I feel, because as you can tell, I'm taking things differently. So that cereal meal was the first time I've done that for like a meal 1. To be honest, it was a bit too much cereal of that type. It was like a bit too sweet and sickly for me. So going forward, I'll like top that with Weetabix. So I'll have like a Weetabix base, I think, and then I'll just use that cereal as a topper, because on its own it was too much. So yeah, but trial and error at the moment. Okay, it's time for meal 2, which is 110 grams of carbs, but I just got a delivery from Hong Kong. So yes, if anyone watched my like vlogs previously, I went to Paris for a wedding in July, and I've just received a nice little thank you letter and some amazing pictures from the day, which is so nice. Like it was such a good time. Like obviously I pushed my show like early so I could actually go to this wedding, because I was meant to be doing a show originally on the 29th of July. When I got invited to the wedding, it was like the 15th of July. I was like, I can't go to a wedding when I'm 2 weeks out. So push my show to the 2nd of July. And that would have meant that I could have gone still, but I would have been like 2 weeks post show. So I actually went to this wedding when I was 4 weeks post show, and it was like the perfect time. Like I was recovered enough to not be like super food focused. I'd put on a healthy amount of body fat, and I was feeling really good, and it was so nice to just like get away from bodybuilding and like go away for a week. I went to the wedding, I stayed in France, I stayed in Paris for like, well, I went to the Hindu first, and then I stayed in Paris for that week, and like went to the wedding the week after, which was like about 4 hours out of Paris. And so I got the week in France in between, just like on my own. Went to visit a friend in Brussels as well, and it was just such a good week to just like be by myself for a little bit, but be abroad, visit friends, go to the Hindu, which was like a massive surprise because she wasn't expecting me there. Like she like didn't think I'd come like a week early, obviously, so she literally cried when she saw me. It was such a cool time, so that was nice. That's made my day a little bit. Anywho, I'm not really hungry particularly, which you know, but where I'd usually for this meal I've been having like Weetabix and Cocoa Pops together, I've kind of had enough sweet, kind of, like as in I don't want cereal after that first meal. So I'm going to do crumpets. So I'm actually going to have 3 crumpets. I am going to have them with 16 grams of jam and some peanut butter as well. So yeah, getting the fats in this meal. It's technically on the plan, like meal 2 is meant to be post-workout, because when I originally signed up with Christian, I said I eat a meal and then I go and train, but my schedule's kind of changed since I've not been on prep and not been like rushing to train. So like I'll not do that now. So meal 2 for me is like pre, so I will get fats in before that. It's obviously fats slow your digestion down. You certainly don't want to be having them post-workout because you want to get the carbs in. You want them to immediately be shuttled in for like, you know, recovery, glycogen replenishment, everything like that. But pre-workout, it's nice to get some fats in so that you are just slowing that digestion a little bit. Obviously I've got like a 35-minute walk to the gym as well, so I'll have peanut butter as well. I've got a bagel to have with this meal too. So I've got 3 crumpets, 16 grams of jam, 20 grams of peanut butter, which makes the 10 grams of fat for the meal, which I'm going to spread on the bagel. And I've also got chicken to put on the bagel as well for the protein. So I'm going to have 87 grams of cooked chicken, which is 25 grams of protein. And that's pretty much the meal. So that's going to get slammed in pre-workout. 3 crumpets and a bagel, basically. And yes, I need to also make my intra. So I'm going to do that now. and then we'll be good to go. So intra at the moment, we've got the supplement needs, EAAs, and I also add in creatine with it, trained by JP. So I've got my trusty little Tupperware, which is how I pour the intra into the bottle without it going everywhere, because I don't have one of those funnels. And I've got these scales, which you might have noted earlier, do it by the decimal point, which is helpful when getting in the salts. Because salt, you could just be cracking it for ages to get to the next gram if you have scales that only do it by the gram. So I literally bought these little scales to make sure that the salt gets weighed out properly. Oh, that's the crumpets. But yeah, make sure that the salt gets weighed out properly. So these are pretty much salt scales for me. But yes, it's nice to kind of have it accurate for food as well. So EAAs, 15 grams, 5 grams of creatine. I put this as well. I have EAAs and creatine when I do my cardio on a rest day, and then it just means that I put the creatine in with the EAAs, and it means that I don't forget to have creatine on a rest day. And then we have 2 grams of pink salt, which I'm actually meant to have with every meal. And it ends up, so every meal including the intra workout, which ends up at 12 grams of salt per day. But I'll be honest now and say that I sometimes don't always get that in, because I don't really want to have salt on like sweet meals, so I didn't have it on my cereal this morning, funnily enough. I know I could do better with that, and that's something I'll maybe work on, but having 12 grams of salt a day is not really a deal breaker. There's lots of benefits of pink salt, by the way, in case you're wondering why. Obviously, intra workout, it's great for the pump. Oh shit, I'm trying to talk and do this and it's not ending well. Don't laugh at me. It's good intra workout for that specific reason as well. Like, I don't think it's going to be massively detrimental to my bodybuilding progress if I don't have 12 grams a day. I probably realistically have 6 to 8 grams a day, depending on how many savoury meals I have. So I am going to put it on my bagel. There we go, add the water. I also need to focus on putting the jam and peanut butter on my crumpets now. Doing it all at once, I'm not used to filming. Haven't done it for a while, have I? So yes, 16 grams to go on. So I'll eat this now, I'll finish off making my intra. And yeah, of course you can get all your sort of trained by GP stuff, supplement needs from Supplement Supply. Like I said earlier, MLE10 for discounts and to support me, and it really does help. So please do, if you enjoy these videos / my content in general, please support and use my new supplement code. And yes, I'm going to get stuck into these crumpets now, and I'll make my bagel afterwards as well. Well, that was wildly unpleasant. I had to force that down by, like, after the first crumpet, I'd say. Yeah. Not hungry. So I definitely won't be having the bagel right now because I'm really, really full. So that's fine. It's okay. We're good. You know, I'm going to have that bagel post-workout with a square bar, because funnily enough, shoveling in food when you're not hungry and you've absolutely stuffed is not going to be like conducive to a productive workout. So I'm very full right now. I'm going to remember to keep taking my Support Max. I'm taking that, like, well, you should always read the instructions on a Strom label, because it'll tell you the dosings and when. Like, for example, Support Max Joint, it's you're not meant to be taking that around your workout. So on a training day, I'll take it in the evening pre-bed, and on a rest day, I'll just take it in the morning or when I remember. But for Support Max, you're meant to be taking it spread evenly throughout the day. So I just make sure that every couple of hours, like, I'll take one in the morning, I'll take another one now while it's like 12, and then I'll take one when I get back from my session, and then I'll take one in the evening. So 4 a day. I'm going to support my liver, kidneys, cholesterol, etc. whilst I am on cycle. I'm just running 5 mg of Anavar at the moment, which I have been for 4 weeks. So I've got about two weeks left of this cycle, and then we'll be done. Just 5. I took 5 on my prep as well. No higher than that. Not necessary. Minimal possible duration, minimal possible dosage, and we're absolutely grand. So that is what we're doing at the moment. So yeah, just take Support Max alongside it, so that hopefully our bloods, like they did post-show, will come back clean and nice, because, you know, whilst we're sort of causing any potential, like, you know, liver damage, etc., kidney damage on cycle, we're taking this to kind of combat it. Support Max from Strom. If you're going to spend money on Anavar and stuff, spend money on your support stack as well. Don't be an idiot. Right, I'm going to go set off soon take my Anavar first. It's about 60 to 90 minutes pre-workout on a training day. So I'm going to take that now as well. Go and train, have a good session, smash some deadlifts, and then come back. Right, so session's done. Lifetime PB hit on the deadlifts, 140 for 6 reps, which is great, so 3 plates. I've done 140 for 4 in the past. So yeah, 6 reps today, all good in the hood. Oh, confirmation that my Uber's arriving in 4 minutes. So I'm going to have a square bar now, immediately post-workout. I do like to have that, and I am hungry now as well, which is great. Getting an Uber back because it's 3 o'clock. Like I said, I've got something on at 5. I've got a setup to do, so I need to get home, quickly eat, and crack on with that. Days always run away with you, and my training takes quite a while nowadays because of, you know, how much volume I now have. So yeah, all of a sudden we're at 3 o'clock. So yeah, sometimes I'll just pay for an Uber because I'd rather just get home and it's like a 35-minute walk, and I don't always have time to walk here and back. Whereas I can get steps later, but I've got work to do now. So I need to get home, crack on, and then I can just get steps later on. So that's what I'm going to do. Home, eat, crack on. Right, I'm home now and I'm 100% ready for the bagel. I am hungry. So I'm going to just get this straight in the toaster so I can crack on and have the other 10 grams of peanut butter that I didn't have before. And then I need to figure out what I'm having next. This concludes meal 2, having this bagel. The square bar runs into my meal 3, which is 60 grams of carbs. So the other, like 30, well, as in like the square bar's like 27 grams of carbs. I feel like that's common knowledge. Maybe it isn't. And yeah, to get the other kind of 30, I need, like, I can have like a wrap basically, which is what I usually do. I usually have a chicken wrap. Got the chicken pre-cooked as always. And yeah, gonna have the bagel first and then a chicken wrap. Got some courgettes that I air fried yesterday and forgot about. God, how do I even cope? This is why I don't do YouTube videos often, because I'm always rushing around, and trying to film as well as just be generally rushed off my feet means that it's even more stressful. But yeah, so yes, shouldn't be having fats with this, but as you know, this was meant to be pre-workout. I think the reason I wasn't really hungry was because obviously I wasn't moving around this morning. Like, I just woke up, did check-ins, and just sat round all morning after my first meal, which was the cereal. Obviously, if you go on, like, if you can, in an ideal world, like, you know, walks between meals, especially when food's high, just to kind of get digestion moving. But because I literally didn't move this morning, it didn't really digest. I wasn't really hungry for the crumpets, and they didn't go down well. So yeah, in an ideal world, it's nice if you can kind of walk off your meals, but unfortunately, that is what I mean by ideal world, because in this sort of life, this online coaching life, you spend a lot of time sat at your desk. You've often got just too much to do, and if I've got so many client check-ins to reply to, I'm going to get them done, and I'm not going to just go out on a walk, unfortunately. So yeah, it is what it is. 5 grams of fats post-workout isn't going to kill me. And this is just an example of how, you know, we're not always optimal and perfect, and things don't always work out, but I'm as optimal as I can be. And a lot of people don't do macros per meal, so you're just kind of eating here, there, and everywhere. So at least I'm a lot better off than maybe some people are. Yeah, nothing's ever perfect, but we're doing our best. So yeah, second half of meal 2, and then second half of meal 3 is about to go in. Right, so I've just consumed the wrap and the square bar and the bagel in one sitting pretty much. So nice and satisfied now. And I'm just getting in, it's like 210 grams of mango. So fruit's obviously an essential part of my daily intake as well. This is 30 grams of carbs from fruit. Do the math, 30 grams of carbs, 130 times 4. 120 calories coming from the mango here. So 15 grams of carbs through fruit to be hit with the first 3 meals of the day. So I missed it on meal 1 because I'm just getting used to this new. Obviously, you saw I had the cereal. I'd previously been having oats and having fruit on that, so I forgot to have it on meal 1, and then I obviously haven't had it either with, you know, the meal 2. So I'm getting 2 portions now of the 15 grams. So now I'm only 15 grams behind, which I'll get in a bit as well. I've got grapes in the fridge, which are really easy. You get 15 grams of carbs, fruit, 100 grams of grapes, so pretty easy. Last 2 meals are 10 grams of fruit carbs. So yeah, the next meal I'm going to have, I've got pasta cooked off in the fridge. I've also got rice cooked off in the fridge. So both of them are 60 grams worth of carbs from those two. So I've got 75 grams of uncooked or like raw weight pasta, but I've cooked it. And I've got 75 jasmine rice as well. My last two meals are actually 40 carbs now. So I think the meal 4 used to be 60, but we dropped food a little bit when I was struggling. So yeah, I'm actually doing well today, getting everything in. So yeah, pretty much I'll probably have rice or pasta, and then I'll have a small final meal to get in the last 40 grams of carbs. Depending how I feel, I'll see what I fancy at the time. Maybe some Weetabix or oats, potentially, but I doubt it'll be oats because I'm really off them at the moment. It's more than likely going to be Weetabix, to be honest. That's what I had last night. It was a nice change from stuffing in oats at the end of the day, but we'll see. Playing it by ear today, but yeah, I'm on schedule, so it's all good. Going to do this setup now and eat the mango and crack on. Okie dokie, I am about to look through a bunch of form videos. So a couple of good girls today have sent me a nice bunch of videos because it's their first week, and that's what we do. I say this all the time, but you know, when you are starting with your coach, like, we need to know how you are training, because if we've never seen you train in the gym before, how on earth are we able to then program effectively for you, escalate your training blocks, understand like how you actually train, and therefore, you know, when you express that you're not recovering, is it because there's just too much volume in there for what you can manage? Like, how do we know that if we don't know how you're training? So yeah, send form videos to your coach. Anywho, so I'm gonna sit with a couple of pieces of dark chocolate. So together this is 10 grams of fat from my next meal, because I'm gonna have rice and Aldi chicken sausages from when I went to Aldi yesterday. So I'm gonna have that. There's no fats in that meal because I don't have any avocado in, which I could have. Otherwise I would have cheese as well. Don't have any of these in, so pretty much getting my fats from chocolate and peanut butter today, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend, but you know, you want a good variety of dietary fats. So not chocolate and peanut butter all day long. But, you know, I've done my best. As you can see today, it's pretty much a full day of eating where I'm trialling out new foods because I've been eating the same food for so damn long. Just because of how busy I've been. And as you can see, I kind of have to think about every meal individually. And how to hit individual quantities of like carbs, fats and protein across those meals. So it does require more thought than just like, you know, macros per day. So therefore, I've just not wanted to think about different meals because I've got so used to like how many oats I can have to hit 40 grams of carbs, or how much rice I can have to hit 60 grams of carbs, or whatever meal it is. I haven't wanted to then think about other food sources and tracking in. Every day is pretty much a rat race. So yeah, even today. But we have got there. We've tracked in that meal. I've also tracked in my last meal because the rice is 60 grams worth of carbs and I only need 40, just because that's what I've pre-cooked, and it's too much fat to try and reweigh it out and do the maths to get 40 grams worth of carbs from what I've already cooked. So I'm just going to suck it up and have 60 grams of carbs from the rice, and then that leaves my last meal as like 20 grams of carbs, but it's actually 25 grams of carbs in my last meal because when I had the rice crispy square bar and the wrap for the previous meal, that added up to 55 grams of carbs and I needed 60. So I've got 5 grams going spare. So I'm going to have 25 grams in my last meal. And that actually equates to 40 grams of oats if I want them. If I get to later and I don't fancy the oats, because I've obviously been quite off oats recently, I think I'll probably be able to stomach 40 later. Maybe. And if I don't feel like it, I'll just have Weetabix or cereal. This is why I like macros, guys. Because, you know, I'm still hitting them consistently every day. It's just I'm hitting them how I want to. So there we go. Well, that was fun. I love actually just seeing people's training. Like, obviously, when you've not seen them before, it's almost like you're entering their like little private gym world. Like, you almost learn like so much more about the client when you like see them in their gym environment. When you see them training, I think it tells me a lot about them as a person. So I learn a lot more about that person as well. So yeah, super helpful. If you've got a coach, make sure you're sending them form videos. Anywho, in terms of next steps then, I feel like I've done quite quite well on this full day of eating. If you guys have watched my full days of eating before, you know that I don't really like filming into the evening because that's my downtime. Obviously, it's Friday evening now. I'm up fairly early tomorrow. I've got legs at Ultraflex North, and I'm a bit nervous because I've got into such a habit recently of training on my own. In fact, I'm going to make the lighting a little bit better. Ta-da! But yeah, I've got in such a habit of training on my own. Like, I'm being quite sacred with my training at the moment. Like, I don't really particularly want to train with other people unless they're kind of on my wavelength in the gym, just because I'm very focused at the moment on like my off season, the progress that I need to make, and just having my time as well. Like, because I've been so busy recently and so overwhelmed with how much I've had to do, I want to be able to go to the gym and fit it in when it suits me. And my volume's a lot higher now, so I spend a lot of time in the gym. I have quite a lot of rest between some of the sets as well. Like, I literally need it, like between the deadlifts today, between my shoulder pressing, all that kind of stuff. So it's a very selfish time training where you can spend as long as you want resting. You don't have to talk to anyone between your sets. You're just recovering. You've just got a little bit of time and headspace away from everything and everyone. Although I'll be honest, I've started taking my work phone in with me to training now because my sessions are longer. I used to be like, oh, I can just go to the gym. I'm only there for like an hour or so, and like, you know, it's my time, so like I won't reply to clients and like while I'm training. But now it's like, realistically, I'm in the gym for a lot longer, and I can't go that long without replying to clients because, you know, they'll be waiting for too uncomfortably long for my liking, in terms of like my response times. That's not good enough in my opinion, leaving it several hours. And also, like, I'll just come out of the gym and have so much like to reply to. So I'd actually just sometimes now I've just got to a habit of taking my work phone with me, and I'll just like reply between sets. But I don't mind doing that because it means that whilst I'm sort of training, I'm getting that done, and then it's not like I've got to sit and have a block of like replies after my training. I can get on with other stuff after my training as well. So yeah, that was a tangent, but yes, training all good in the hood at the moment. Like I said, week 4 into a cycle, so running that for another couple of weeks, and then yes, we'll just come off. So yeah, probably is going to push food back up. But while I was struggling with my appetite so much because of, you know, stress and how busy I was and trying to cram food in, and the fact that I just wasn't able to fathom that I could probably just change my food sources, and like from today it's so much easier to get in. Like, even just thinking I don't have to have oats tonight, actually. There's Weetabix waiting for me if I want to track them in instead. But if I do want to have oats, there's 40 grams, which is a lot more manageable. It's not that much. So yeah, obviously appetite's firing a lot more now because I'm eating foods that just are a lot easier and faster to digest, and not as satiating, not as voluminous. And that's really helpful because we just want to keep food nice and high while the anabolics are in, to get the best out of them. So we'll run that. And it'll take us to kind of the mid to late November, and then just run into Christmas, and then from there probably maybe do like a tidy up in the new year. There will be obviously a couple of diet phases next year, just to keep body composition in a good spot and just keep everything on, like, you know, all firing on all cylinders with appetite, insulin sensitivity, everything. You know, so I'm in the best spot possible to kind of start prep in 2025. So yeah, it's not going to be a full off season of just gain like it was last time. There will be a couple of little mini cuts going in into next year. So probably at the start of the year, and then somewhere towards the back end of the year as well. So that's pretty much a little bit more of an update on, you know, the off season as it stands. So the macros to end the day will be, so it is 418 carb, 71 fats, and 183 protein, and we're coming in just over 3,100 calories. Now, yeah, if you watch previous videos, we got up to 3,300. So yeah, calories got dropped on both days by about 200. I think we pulled like 50 carb basically off both days. So yeah, my rest day food at the moment is about 2,700, and it was like 2,900. So based on the check-in I just had on Tuesday, Christian was saying, oh, you know, all being well, we'll be able to push carbs back up by like 25 grams next week. And by all being well, he means like my weight stabilizing, because it stayed nice and stable this week. It was nice and stable last week, but when the Anavar got introduced, it was all like skewed all over the place. And then I had a lot of stress, and it was literally quite out of character for me, but like literally was a day when I was up by 3 pounds and then down by 3 pounds, and like big fluctuations for me because I'm usually pretty stable. So it was just all over the place for a little bit, and I was not in a good headspace, and yeah, like it was a struggle. So we pulled food down a little bit, and that was really helpful in the initial like struggling period. But now we're going to look to kind of push things back up, even though I'm getting really heavy, because yes, this is what we need to do to make the progress we need to make. Yes, so that is what it is. And we're going to keep cracking on with this off season. So yes, I think that's enough of an update. And yeah, if you've got any questions, just drop them in the comments below. There's links to inquire for coaching. There's links to my new supplement company if you want to go and check them out. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. The link to my Instagram, if you don't already follow me on Instagram, obviously do so. And that's pretty much everything. I will wrap this one up. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.